And welcome back, everyone, to another Who Would Win pre-recording, because when the week's up, it's better to pre-record. This one comes to us from Wade Wilson, Zombie Demon, and Shadows82. We'll ask the question, who would in a fight? Is it Rimuru? I think it's Rimuru. Rimuru Tempest, versus from How I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, versus Ainz Ooal from Overlord. Two insanely overpowered characters from both respective universes who can do damn near anything. And I mean, they're both. I don't remember exactly the context of how I was reincarnated as a slime. I do know with Ainz Ooal, it's actually that it's a game he's stuck in, and that he's just hacked himself out to the umpteenth degree. So I mean, he's the leader. He's one of the strongest individuals in the entire state, if not the strongest. His class or race is technically he's a lich, but he's turned it into something else. He's an overlord ability or class, if I'm not mistaken. He knows over 718 spells, even though the limit was 300. Because he uses something called Dark Wisdom to learn to memorize 718 different spells. He is, God, going over all of these is going to be such an issue. He's learned to be a skilled hand-to-hand fighter, even though it's not his class. He has ability damage 4, which I don't know what it is. I'm guessing that reduces the damage. Acid immunity, arcane vision to see invisibility, see through. Black hole, create a black hole. Create high tier undead for 4 days. You can create an eyeball course by using the racial skill. Racial skill. The upper tier undead that make this skill is only level 70. However, he divides those up into 2 uses. He can make undeads of roughly 90. Level 90, whatever that means. Higher level means better strength. So a midday tier and a low tier undead. That's high tier undead, middle tier undead, and low tier undead. So you can create a lot of undead things. Dark Soul, which I don't even know what that, it has no description. Dark Wisdom, which is what basically allows them to learn all the spells he has. A Despair Aura has a chance, if not resisted by ability, equipment level, and differences, causing fear. Fear refers to the abnormal status of being afraid, which inflicts a penalty of actions. Despair Aura 2. He actually has even stronger versions of Despair Aura. Has a chance of causing panic, a more severe version of fear. Despair Aura 3 has a chance of causing confusion. Can only happen if the target does not have any recovered measures prepared. Despair Aura 4 causes insanity. And Despair Aura 5 is literally you're so scared you die. High tier magic immunity level 3 nullifies low tier spells. High tier physical immunity 3 nullifies all low level attacks. High ice immunity, negative energy touch, which deals negative type damage to an object by being touched, attacked, or skill attacked by Ainz. Before the target is inflicted by negative type damage, it can be fully recovered by avoiding direct physical contact with Ainz. Death can occur from an unhealable strength attribute being reduced to 0. He has negative protection. So I'm guessing protection for negative energy. Speak evil tongues. Status damage. Slashing resistance. Piercing damage resistance. Turn resistance 3, which protects him against undead control or domination effects. Can sense undead beings. He has job class skill Undead Lieutenant. Basic undead race traits include bludgeoning vulnerability 5, biological penalty resistance, critical immunity, dark vision, death immunity, disease immunity, double damage by fire, eating, drinking, and breathing are unnecessary, energy drain immunity, good, light, and holy vulnerability. So these are actually weaknesses he has, including fire and vulnerability and light and holy attribute damage. Good and holy construct areas vulnerability 2. Mind affecting immunity. If not for his own world item he had equipped, Ainz would have become affected by the world item. Downfall of Cat's Own Country, which can even bypass the undead's immunity in his bind, but he has an item, so he was immune to that. Necromancy resistance, paralysis immunity, physical penalty resistance, poisoning immunity, recover of negative energy, sleep immunity. Class abilities include instant death and magic enhancements, including Rite of Darkness, He states he can enhance his undead creation skill through the use of Dark Ritual, Undead Aura, Undead Creation, Undead Control, and Domination. That speaks for its freaking self. Undead Strengthening, again, speaks for itself. Super tier magic, which is creation, a super tier spell that can change the terrain itself. In Yggdrasil, it was used to guard against the heat of the volcanoes or the cold of freezing lands. According to Ainz's experiment, it has an amazing large area effect and covers the entire 8th floor inside the Great Tomb of Nazarick. Falling down. This is a spell. Upon casting this super tier spell, calls upon a huge pillar of blue light from the sky that will burn so bright and hot it will appear as though the whole world is turned white. After a few seconds, it will leave behind the area burned to cinders devoid of life. The spell deals massive damage, especially to undead-type enemies. Oh god. All you Wish Upon a Star. Wish Upon a Star, a super tier spell which consumes the user's experience points to grant a wish or more. Ainz has the ability to gain access to it by using a special item, but states that he has also learned to do it. In the new world, when casting the super tier spell, it feels as though new information is being entered into his mind, and that they work differently from Yggdrasil, although it still expands his experience points. Wish Upon a Star is now a type of super tier spell that makes the impossible possible. However, it cannot overcome the effects of world items. Pantheon. Once he casts a super tier spell, Ainz summons forth 6 level 80 Cherubim Gatekeepers with holy type magic under his full command. Also, La Shub Nigoroth. Oh god, that sounded wrong. Me just pronouncing it. Nugoroth. Let's go say that. Ainz uses this spell to summon a black cyclone that instantly kills everything in its field of range. The spell inflicts an instant death effect and is practically useless against the undead golems and other beings who have no life. While it is effective against living players and enemies, it is hard to imagine any level 100 player not having an immunity to instant death. Additionally, the fallen victims caught Cyclone are also sacrificed or summon monsters over level 90, known as Dark Young. The number of Dark summoned younglings is proportional to the number of total sacrifices. For Ainz's record, the highest number of Darklings he's able to summon successfully in New World is at most 5. So far, is at most 5. Normal spells. Magic Arrow. It's a magic freaking energy arrow. Rabbit Ears enhances his hearing and senses. Summon undead first. Allows him to summon any kind of undead animal, such as dogs. Second tier. Acid Arrows. Speaks for itself. Message. Allows the user to be able to talk to targets through personal telepathy. Shockwave. It's an invisible shockwave. Crush full plate armor. Third tier. Fireball. Fly. Haste. All these speak for themselves. Ice Ball. Lightning. Lopsided Duel. Okay, that one's... I need to read that one. Third tier spell that bounds the caster to the target, such as whatever the target tries to flee by teleportation. Both the caster and target will appear in the same place. Basically, you cannot leave. Slows an opponent down. Summon undead, 3rd level. Skeletal warriors under his control. 5th tier. We just skipped right to 5. Dragon Lightning. Shoots a dragon, bolt light in the shape of a dragon. Very powerful. 7th tier. Screw 6. Chain Dragon Lightning. Gee, I wonder how that does. Creates a chain effect of lightning dragons. Create greater items. The spell creates magical made items such as armor, swords, and halberds. So on for a magic caster like anyway, he creates magical items. Focus magic. It can be used on an ally. Greater teleportation. Speaks for itself. Hellflame. The flame will latch on a target and become a raging inferno. Burns until there's nothing left of ash with black flames. Basically, it's Amaterasu. Napalm. Undead Army. Speaks for itself. 8th tier. Astral Smite. It is attacked as effective against ethereal beings. This counts against beings who are also counts against temporarily ethereal beings. Death. An 8th tier spell that can use a single target each time. He can use it with silent magic. Dimensional Lock. Allows to render the enemy's teleportation and transfer magic unusable. Energy Drain. That speaks for itself. It's type of necromancy. Explosion. Giant Explosion. Remote Viewing. That's also a very actually self-explanatory. 9th tier. Bless of Titania. Summons forth a tiny fairy. The fairy queen besides him will take them along dangerous paths. Greater Thunder. Giant thunderbolts. Explosion. Bigger explosion. Grasp Heart, which the caster grabs and crushes the opponent's heart, causing instant death. Even if the target resists, they instantly become stupefied or stunned as a secondary effect. This is stated to be Ainz's favorite spell. Greater Rejection. ninth tier spell that cancels target's attempts at greater summon. League, oh god, whenever Deathbog gets around to this one, because I know it's a big requested one, it's going to be a mind F. Lord of Yatagarasu summons a 3-legged crow, guides the player to shortest path near Nuclear Blast. A spell powerful enough to entirely consume the space between the user and the target in an instant. However, the user will be caught in the range attack spell. Jesus. Perfect Unknowable. That's makes the user invisible to the naked eye and can also erase one's traces and sounds. Interesting. Temporal Stasis. A single target spell that prevents the opponent from moving. True Death. Which invalidates the effects of lower tier resurrection magic. Vermilion Nova, a 9th tier spell, is an attack targeting the opponent with a pillar of flame that deals fire damage based on fire type damage. Ainz it's considered to be the highest level super tier spell that is notwithstanding anti-personal fire magic. Basically, it's super powerful fire. 10th tier, we're almost there, and then there's question mark tiers. Oh my god, like we don't know what tier they are. Armageddon. A 10th tier spell that summons an army of demons. They're considered to be that are not considered to be strong. Some demonic summons have the tendency to go berserk. Body of Effulgent Burial reduces the effectiveness of bludgeoning attacks against the subjects. Control Amnesia. That kind of speaks for itself. BZ2128 Delta. While he practices using this spell multiple times, to some degree, it's used on an NPC to manipulate information. Create Fortress. There you go. Meteor Fall. Meteors. Reality Slash. That is top class in damage dealing. Consumes a lot of mana. The spell is considered to be a lesser version of World Break. By using Ainz creates 3 attacks that slash space itself and are capable of cleaving through the very fabric of space and hit from the powerful. Attack is discard virtually any magical defense. Summon Undead, Elemental Skull. Oh, sorry, no, that doesn't. Time Stop, Ultimate Disturb, resistance, increasing allies' resistance to magic, and Uriel. 10th tier spell that deals fire type damage is the kind of spell that can be learned by a magic caster of any type, as long as the requirements are met. However, the spell only does its listed damage when cast. There's also Absorption, all appraised magical item, anti-life cocoon, anti-information magic wall, so many other things. Then that's not even getting to the magical items. Oh, by the way, he has special skill, should name. The goal of all life is death. The skill is one of his most powerful abilities and comes from the maximum level 5 Eclipse. Eclipse is one of the hardest classes to get because it requires Overlord with special skills in Necromancy and instant death type magic. The Eclipse class lets the user become a true Lord of Death, a life-consuming Eclipse. It strengthens the instant death effect of magic and skills to the point of bypassing immunity or resistance and killing their targets after a certain amount of time has passed. Ainz uses a skill with basically killed like everything within 100 meters. Cooldown skill is 100 hours. Unnamed special skill, though using a special skill, he's capable of turning corpses into undead. Summons, God, he's got so many summons. From zombie warriors, zombie dragons, zombie dogs. His highest ones are Eyeball Corpse, Eternal Death, Elemental Skull, Doom Lord, Death Empress, Death Emperor, so forth and so on. And then his main equipment, 10 rings. Each of the rings is imbued with a different power. He has a ring of Ainz Ooal, which allows the user to freely teleport from every room inside his base. Shooting Star, which allows the user to activate a super tier magic spell, Wish Upon a Star 3 times. Ring allows the user to resurrect at barely any penalties. With the ring equipped to Ainz, he would lose some experience points and his lowest quality item, Resurrection, instead of 5 levels, highest quality item. The ring that protects the user from detection of any kind of divination magic. Ring that protects him from behavioral disturbances. Ring that protects him from temporal attacks designed to impede the freedom of movement. Ring of Mastery Wand that allows the user to use wards regardless of class requirements. He can use 1 ward per hour, which allows the user to basically class different spells. And Ring that contains 12 magical spells for Ainz to use like remote viewing. Yeah, his robe, which apparently it's the aura. Does it have any abilities, this aura, the robe? It's a dark aura. Boots, belt. Let's see, staff of Ainz Ooal. The artifact. How far are we into the video now? I'm reading this. 14 minutes. I'm only on one guy. This staff is so vivid that it feels as though you hear the voices of pain. The staff has several snakes engraved in it. Obviously, you can use it for spell casting, and you can just bludgeon someone. Momonga's red orb. Versatile means the world item he possesses has many different powers to choose from and use. For example, one of these powers is very effective against dragons. However, the world item will drain his level every time he unleashes its full power. The web novel counterpart of Ainz has stated that it will get stronger the longer it's with him. And then he's also got Dark Warrior equipment. Under his adventurer persona as a warrior, all of the items he is equipped with are relic class items. I'm not even gonna bother. Like at this point, like it's just like, because I can't, literally, there's so much crap here. This is one of the hardest things to do for verses on any level. And then there's Rimuru Tempest. This is gonna be like a 30-minute video. I'm not even joking. So he literally has ultimate skills, including soul consumption, when he basically unification with Lord Wisdom and Lord of Gluttony. Superman's version of predatory gluttony, which can devour the target's soul, ignoring space-time. Imaginary collapse, the ultimate destructive energy that fills chaotic imaginary space, is able to be used at full efficiency and assistance of Seal, whatever. Imaginary space, world of chaos, the ultra evolved version of stomach and isolation. We'll get more than those down the road. Space-time domination, manipulating and bending time and space to the user's will, being able to move in an instant just by constantly thinking about it, even allowing the user to interfere with time. Multiple dimensional barrier. Absolute defense is achieved through the separation of spatial dimensions and several powerful barriers, able to block anything the user can comprehend. True Dragon release, a variant parallel existence that allows Veldora, and Velgrind. I haven't heard these names pronounced. Velgrinden, Greerland, as well as their power to exist simultaneously and assimilate Rimuru to activate the outside world with activated and other body and whatever. True Dragon nucleation, Scorch Storm. If the two's energy are not currently linked to True Dragon release, it can instead be materialized in the form of a specific spherical core. The core contains all their energy as if it were part of their body and create an unmatched weapon. Shub Nugoroth, Lord of Abundance. Skill creation allows them to create brand new skills based on the information obtained from analysis and the user's desires. Skill duplication allows the user to recreate skills that have been fully analyzed. Skill gifting allows the user to grant skills to target, assuming they're compatible. Skill storage stores the information of all analyzed skills as they can be recreated later. Raphael, Lord of Wisdom, merged with Beelzebub to create Azimuth. Thought acceleration lets the user extend their thoughts by 1,000,000 times. Analysis and analytical appraisal analyzes and assesses the target. Parallel processing operates any matter to the user's wish to analyze, separate it from the regular thought process. Any process under parallel processing is affected by mind acceleration and therefore sped up 1,000,000 times. Chant annulment removes the need for a chant to use magic. All of creation allows the user to fully comprehend any non-concealed phenomena as long as they have been a certain amount of knowledge beforehand. Synthesize separate. The ability to fuse and separate. Alteration allows the user to modify or even evolve skills right under the right circumstances. Future attack prediction allows the user to see from a series of outcomes what is going to happen. The result that has been calculated over 100%. The results that have been calculated have a 100% chance of occurring. Merge. Oh god, he's got like so many of these just weird merge with things. Beelzebub. Oh god, no. Raphael, Lord of Wisdom. That's the one. No, sorry. Beelzebub, Lord of Gluttony. Predation allows the target to absorb absorbs the target into the user's body. Chance of success is lowered if the target has a consciousness of any kind, but it does work on organic, inorganic, and non-physical objects. Compared to the spiritual life forms, as well as skill, magic, or anything like that. Stomach allows them to store the user in there. It's a space roughly 10 times that of Gluttony's. Mimicry allows the Rimuru to reproduce the form and skill of target absorbed. Isolation stores harmful effects that are incapable of being analyzed, neutralizing them and breaking them down into his Magicules. Rot inflicts rot on targets, decomposing it if it's organic. Monster corpses partially absorbed, and the manner will reward the user with part of the monster's skill. Soul consumption, the ability to. So I'm actually just gonna get it right out here. I don't think he's going to be able to consume Ainz. So anything that Beelzebub is able to do is kind of irrelevant. Ainz is way too powerful, I think, to be just consumed like that. And even so, he's got immediate teleport effect. So either way, I think that's not going to be relevant. Uriel, Lord of Vows, the combined state of all abilities received from Food Chain after the Harvest Festival, using space manipulation, Infinity Prison as a base. Spatial Domination, the enhanced version of spatial manipulation that allows the user, among other things, teleport instantly with little to no delay to place the user has coordinates of as well as, what the hell is this wording? Okay. Allows the user, among other things, allows the user to, among other things, teleport instantly with little to no delay to place the user has coordinates of as well as lock the local space around the user to prevent space from being manipulated. I think that means you need coordinates. I don't know. The wording is very bad. Universal Barrier provides absolute defense with a multiple barrier and severing space between each layer. Infinity Prison traps target an imaginary space for all time. Blackfire and Thunder. Law manipulation. Blackfire and Thunder. Total magic control. Total control of properties of heat and inertia. The ability to freely store or remove heat from his stomach. Veldora, Lord of Storms. Summon Storm Dragon. Can summon Veldora across space-time. Restore Storm Dragon. An ability that copies Veldora's memories. In other words, okay, hold on. I'm gonna just check out Veldora real quick. Yeah, okay, Veldora is an actual Dragon of Storms. Good to know. Because Jesus Christ. Storm Magic allows users to access Storm Magic. Vilgrid Storm Scorch. Scorch Dragon. It's a fire dragon. I'm just gonna go on a limb and say, and has all the abilities of Scorch Magic. Wise One evolved into Raphael. Thought acceleration. Okay, so basically all the things now I would be listing are actually all evolved from the previous abilities we had prior. Evolved from this, evolved from that. He does have a couple other abilities though. Intrinsic skills including Ultimate Slime, Dragon Spirit Hockey, powerful hockey that imbues him the aura, probably uses to shred anything that comes in contact with him, allows the user to perceive most sensation, including but not limited to light, sound, smell, heat, and wide radius. Universal shapeshifting allows the user to freely change their body's properties. Demon Slime. Infinite regeneration, as long as the user's core is intact, they have sufficient energy. They can completely regenerate from all damage. Multi-layer barrier, absorbed into Uriel, allows the user to keep several magical barriers imbued with each of the resistance up at all times. A very little casting effort. Universal sense, basic thing. We already went over that. Shape-shifting, enhanced universal thread, enhanced version of sticky steel thread. A more durable version of replicant, capable of being used as an incarnation medium for True Dragon. A skill that enhances a magical-based item, Demon Lord Hockey. Spatial motion allows him to freely convert two spaces. He's been there before. That's key. Magic manipulation, absorbed into magical manipulation by Uriel. Black Flame Dragon, we did that. Slime, self-regeneration, allows him to regenerate from physical damage. Absorb. Extra skills, spatial motion, oh god, magic aura. All these are basically we've kind of gone over on some capacity because they've been upgraded. Magic jamming allows the user to disrupt the motion of magicules in an extremely large area and make magicule-based attack abilities much more difficult. Much more difficult. You meant much more difficult. For someone to spell that. Magic manipulation again. Allows the user to basically directly interfere with someone else's magical abilities. That's big. Allows the user to slow motion. Allows the user to travel long distances using shadow subspace, durable threads. It's basically, I just keep seeing the same damn thing over and over again. He's got telepathy, communicate through thought, poisonous breath, wouldn't matter for Ainz. Allows the user to unleash a powerful paralyzing breath. We know Ainz is immune to that. Body armor. Ainz could get through that. Ultrasonic waves. Okay, resistance skills, physical nullification attacks, Resist skills that grant very strong resistance to any type of physical attack imbued with absolute events or layered multi-layer barrier, doubling resistance effects. Natural effect nullification. Resist skills that grants very strong resistance to any type of natural phenomenon, i.e. lightning, regardless of whether or not, ergo, lightning, regardless of whether or not they are caused by magic or physics. Abnormal conditions nullification. Resist skills that grant very strong resistances to any type of abnormal condition. Spiritual attack nullification. Okay, there's not much going on there, but resist skill that grants very strong resistance to attacks that attack the mind, spirit, and mood. And holy demonic attack resistance. Equipment: dragon, blade, god, grail, sword. Okay, it doesn't tell me anything about it. It has no special. Kurobo's masterpiece has no. It has no special abilities in exchange for being exceptionally durable. And then there's God Grill armor, material creation, black robe, anti-magic mask, magic items, suppresses magicals, and demon lord. Yeah, arts. Oh god, arts now. It's just going over all the things that we basically got over. He knows lightning, fire, storm, magic, spiritual magic, summoning magic. He also has summoning magic. We know Ainz can negate that. Basic, holy magic. Oh god, holy cannon. The focus beam of holy event to energy. Wide range attack. Okay, he's got holy magic. We know Ainz is weak to that. Miracle, disintegration. A process similar to nuclear decay. Bombard to target and destroys them on a molecular level. Holy ray, a large beam bypassing barriers or destroying targets. Resurrection. By utilizing spirituals, the user is able to heal any wound or even bring back the recently deceased. Physics magic? Are you kidding me right now? A physically driven, what? Which uses spirit in its to form multiple very large magnifying glass water constructs in the air, which are actually lesser water spirits transformed to suitable needs. This focuses the energy of the sun. Basically, they're literally turning someone into it's literally a magnifying glass anthill kind of thing. Hey. Argos, a variation of that which allows the user to observe everything almost everywhere on the planet. Battle Will, Aura Slash, one of the most basic but most deadly attacks within Battle Will's arsenal. The user launches their aura outwards as a projectile weapon. Aura Sword goes to Sword and Aura. Form Hide, the user uses the Hide Presence. Haze, which I'm guessing makes a haze. The art stage, first you rid yourself of any sound, then wipe away smell for finally wiping away your aura. Oh no, it's just like some weird hiding move. Instant Move allows the user to rapidly increase their speed for a single moment. Magic Bullet, user gathers aura and surrounds magicals in form of a dense ball. Model Will, a fundamental technique that allows the user to create constructs of aura, kind of like a Green Lantern. Hazy Style, Storm Break combines this with oh god, okay, I've finally gotten through everything. He is a master swordsman, by the way. Great sage prevents Rimuru's deep psyche from being interfered with, so mind magic isn't going to do anything. And Special Soul, it's been said that his soul is extraordinarily strong, and has on several occasions has been the entire reason the primordial demon followed him. Okay, so, like I said, 30 minutes, and that's just going over everything. And the reason I did that, and the actual fight is not going to be anywhere near as long, obviously. The reason I did is because I know someone would be like, you didn't bring this up. How can you say this? You didn't even go over this. This guy knows nothing. Okay, I went over everything on their damn Wikipedia pages, and I still didn't grasp everything. And no matter what I say here, someone's going to be pissed off. So, okay. Both are insane. This is one of those series, both are in a series where your main protagonist is immensely overpowered. Immensely. But they're fun because they're a fun character. So, and I really want to see Death Bell's take on this, because this would be, holy crap. But, so, we got to basically look at what each has the other doesn't, and what they each have over the other. Rimuru has arguably better defenses because he's using a lot of spatial magic. He has actual holy magic on his side. He has the ability to analyze things, analyze his thinking ability and analysis capabilities, and more or less copy his spell a million times over, which is insane. He's capable of literally freezing space-time and just moving in an instant. So those are things he immediately has over Ainz. Ainz is capable of freezing time, but not space so much. He does have space-rending abilities, but those are considered really high-level spells in his world, where, I mean, they might be considered that here too. But Rimuru seems to be able to use them just more effectively. But Ainz is clearly far superior in death magic and necromancy. He constantly has wards up. He's also got constant defensive, nullifying any weaker level attacks that Rimuru will throw at him. And the ability to use Wish is just something Rimuru does not have. But Rimuru also has the ability to literally see in the future with 100% accuracy. Okay, so now that I have basically gone over all this, who would win in a fight with these guys? This is the clash of legitimate titans here. Like literally god level beings. And as far as I can tell, the problem with doing a character like Ainz I've always had is the fact that we don't know how the video game rules of his world translate to other worlds that aren't video game rules. So like if I were to do him versus a Sword Art Online character, that's a different. Those actually follow a similar type of template. Here is not the case. Rimuru's got a lot of durability. He's not going to be affected by any fear or thanks to his mental resistance. But Ainz is also a much more calculated individual. So while he doesn't go into a fight normally without being sure of what he's going up against and trying to plan things out, but Rimuru is capable of literally increasing his ability to think a million times over. Now keep in mind though, he doesn't simply always have access to everything at once. He does have to focus on what he wants to do, all that. It's the same with Ainz. But Ainz is actually able, I remember when Ainz was actually able to turn, there's that famous fight where he was in a battle with her, with like a former pupil, and he actually turned time backwards to the very beginning of the fight. And just restarted the fight, and then everything flip-flopped, and he got the win. Basically, he was in control the whole time. But, oh, God. The question, first off, is can he figure out Ainz is weak to holy magic and fire? Short answer, yeah, he can figure that out. I don't think there's any reason to think otherwise. There's also the fact that Rimuru doesn't have a clear-cut weakness. Unlike Ainz, who does actually have a couple clear-cut weaknesses, Rimuru does not. But Ainz, even without spell casting, constantly has protections up. Those rings are always constantly activated. Hold on. Where is dark equipment? Where is his rings? Oh yeah, his rings. There we go. Like I said, so let's just go over Ainz's constants before we go into any of the specifics again. It allows him to teleport freely. Yeah, Rimuru can do that too, so they kind of cancel each other out in that. Shooting Star, 3 uses of Wish. See, we're going to talk about the Wish, because I feel like the Wish is really the deciding factor ability here. What was it? Allows the user to resurrect at barely any penalty. Yeah, that's a problem. Ring that he has a ring that protects him from all kinds of divination, so that's nothing. No divination ability that Rimuru has will do anything. Ring that protects him from behavioral disturbances, temporal attacks, and designed to impede and attacks that are designed to impede his freedom. So while the defensive capabilities which space is temporal. So while the defensive abilities are not attacks, he can't do anything about that with Rimuru. None of Rimuru's spatial attacks are actually going to do anything to him, which is kind of one of his bigger attack options. I mean, he's got plenty of other options, and plenty of honestly better options against him still. And a Ring of Mastery 1, which allows him to use wards. So, I mean, okay. But ultimately, for me, the question does just come down. The Wish. The Wish ability literally lets him do anything. Let me read Wish Upon a Star one more time. because I think it needs to be clear about the level of power we're talking about with this spell. Where are you? Wish upon a star. So, oh man, I gotta go all the way back up. Jeez, these things. Ever go to their Wikipedia pages at some point? Their list of the level of power these guys have is nuts. Wish upon a star, a super tier spell that consumes a user experience points to grant a wish or more. Ainz is able to gain access to it by using a special item, but states that he also learned to it. In the New World, which when cast, the super spell, it feels as though new information is being entered into his mind and that they work differently. Anyway, although it expends experience points, Wish Upon a Star is now a type of super tier spell that can make the impossible possible. It cannot overcome powerful effects of world items, but that is irrelevant here. So basically, it makes the impossible possible. Doing something basically that impossible would be literally the only way to put this guy down. So he has literally the spell on hand to take Rimuru out. The question is, does he survive long enough or to use it? And is Rimuru capable of countering it? So the answer to the question is Rimuru capable of countering it? I don't think he is. Nothing I read says he could counter literally a wish-granting spell. So the second is, could he stop Ainz in time before Ainz is capable of using it? Or uses an analytical abilities to steal the rings off of Ainz? I think Ainz also has enough protection on him normally to avoid something like that, because I imagine that someone's tried to do that, and it's like, no. And even so, he claims he knows how to use the ability on his own. So even if he grabbed the ring without Ainz would probably just use the wish ability beforehand. In which case, he'd remove whatever he'd use the wish to remove basically whatever ability is giving him the most protection, or take away his soul, whatever. Because the whole consuming souls and whatnot is great and powerful, and in theory would have been a dangerous ability for Ainz to go up against, but it's basically it's an enhanced version of predatory gluttony, which can devour target soul, ignoring space-time. But Ainz can just stop time as well and use teleportation to get out of the way, and is exceptionally powerful in his own right, and capable of using a lot of hell purifying fire of his own. So, oh god, again, I'm going to get someone pissed off at me regardless. I'm going to say, because they're going to be playing a lot of back and forth tug of war in this fight. But I'm going to say, because Wish is literally anything you want, I'm going to give it to Ainz. Even with seeing the future, analyzing a million times over, speed, like your mental faculties are a million times faster. Just because you can see the future doesn't mean you can prevent it. And honestly, they even said that the future always comes true 100% in time with him, which means if he sees wish being granted, can he try to stop it? Even if he tries to stop it, would he be able to stop it? I don't think he could. But we just don't know. Until Death Battle, and again, I bring up Death Battle because I think Death Battle would at least do their best to handle it. Look, I'm a nobody on a YouTube channel with a low-grade webcam right now, and in this. So, look, I went 40 minutes on this, and it's still a crapshoot. You take your pick, flip a coin kind of option here. So, yeah, I would probably say that I would be going with Ainz, and it has nothing to do with he's a cooler looking character. It's just the fact he does have an ability. Plus, instant death magic is not something that Rimuru has an immediate resistance to. He can resist it through other means, but he's not immortal. So he would have to resist instant death magic on its own. So I'll go with Ainz in this fight, but who do you got? I don't know how many views it's going to get. Went nearly 40 minutes. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I go Ainz. Feel free to berate me and say you're wrong. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.